Hello class, today I'll be talking to you guys about a banned book called The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. First off, let's start with the question. Would you guys rather live a predetermined life or try to break away and make your own destiny? This is the classic Shakespearean traits of basically asking if your destiny is predetermined or if you can make your own. This book argues this point very often and helps highlight points that help one person decide one fact or the other. Why this book was specifically banned? It was due to problems such as bullying, violence, racism, depictions of sex, and alcohol abuse, such as one portion where the main character talks about masturbation. This book was censored in over 4 schools. Those were located in Stockton, Missouri, Richland, Washington, Newcastle, Wyoming, and Marion, Idaho. Basically, in Wyoming, it was challenged and removed from the 8th grade curriculum, but allowed to read in the library. All the other schools were just like, nah, get this trash out of here. Some important quotes are about the Wellpoint and Redderin. They're my hometowns, which is Arnold, which talks about how he conflicts. Because Arnold is the main character and lives on an Indian reservation, but he goes to a school with mainly white children. And here it talks about both these two places where he has a very conflicting point of culture in between the people who he grown up with and the people who he's educated with. This is actually very similar to the structure of many second generation children who are going through America or any other culture currently. Another important quote is, "It sucks to be poor, it sucks to somehow deserve to be poor. You start believing you're poor because you're stupid and ugly, and you start believing you're stupid and ugly because you're Indian. And because you're Indian, you start believing you're destined to be poor. It's an ugly circle and there's nothing to do about it." This quote mainly speaks about poverty and challenges many other ideas of our current social structure. And the next quote is, "When I first started teaching here, that's what we did is to the rowdy ones, we beat them. And that's how we were taught to teach you. We were supposed to kill the Indian to save the child." This is from Arnold's teacher, Mr. P, and this basically talks about the main goal of education is to really convert them to the American culture and to beat the Indian culture out of them in order to save the child. Alright, and real quick, the characters what I'm talking about. Arnold Spirit Jr., this is him right here, the absolute unit with his wobbly knees. This is Rowdy, his brother. This is his sister, Mary. These are parents. Dude, he's a saxophone player, so he's cool. She's his secretary. There's his grandmother. And there's Penelope, his crush. Alright, so on to what I've already said about the plot. Arnold Spirit Jr. is the main character's name. He's a hydrocephalic Indian freshman. He's mainly a punching bag to other Indians due to just naturally being weak-bodied, having a speech impediment, and in addition to the disability, and stack and all, he has no friends as a result to this. His only friend is Rowdy, who basically just yells at him and just beats him up, but happens to defend Arnold whenever he's in danger. He has 2 parents, as before mentioned, but they all have their issues, such as Arnold's father is an immense alcoholic, which is a trait very commonly seen within Indian reservations. The meaning of this point is really to bring up a couple other points, such as the comparison in between the different cultures of being white versus being Indian, or any other minority group. How one lives in poverty while the other lives where more money, and most importantly where hope is at. Because that's a big point of the book, is hope versus non-hope. Does that reside within white or within the Indian, with money or with not, education or family? There's really many points that conflict with the two that one must decide from their own, and that the main character goes through. And also, the main part is his name. The suffix Junior was mainly used while he was still in school. From the reservation, they just used Arnold. And they use that to signify him becoming white. It's like on the reservation, he's Junior, but in school, he's Arnold. And that just to kind of poke fun at each other and really help highlight the issue of hope versus non-hope, or culture clashing more specifically. The awards this book has mainly gotten: its best books in 2007 by School Library Journal, 2008 Top 10 Best Books for Young Adults, and 2009 Odyssey Award, and countless others, but those are the main highlights. Some critical reviews here. You have the New York Times, you got Amazon, you got the Guardian. Specifically in Guardians, it states that some books are like living organisms. They seem to breathe, laugh, weep, joke, confront, and meet you eye to eye. Maybe it's a combination of drawings, pithy turns to phrase, candor, tragedy, despair, and hope makes this more than entertaining read, more than an engaging story about a North American Indian kid who makes out of a poor dead-end background without losing his connection with who he is and where he's from. Conclusion, it's extremely sad and upsetting, although it has various points of comedic relief with the main character and various bits he goes through as he grows up and goes through adolescence, which, with the combination of these two traits, helps set it apart, with also the main culture clashes that are highlighted in between it. This really is a unique book that I can see why it has been banned from most curriculums, but it's definitely worth a read, and the knowledge it contains is important to any student going through any crisis, regardless of race, culture, or background. Everyone can learn something.